Welcome. Testing, testing, testing. Hello, and welcome to the Charlotte O'Tremba Show. My name is Charlotte. It is episode number 13. Lucky 13. We're here. We're here. It's 13. It's February 2021. Just cruising along. I am literally recovering from reading the craziest article about this nightmare tenant, essentially. If you haven't read it, it's called The Nightmare Share in The Cut, you know, that part of New York Magazine. Absolutely insane. In New York City, there are many, many cases of, landlords trying to take advantage of tenants, of course. But there is always one that's got to ruin it for it all. There were these special safeguards put in place to protect tenants during COVID if they couldn't make rent. And then there's got to be one asshole that's a crazy person and takes advantage of it. And this is essentially about that. And why it's so nuts is that, so my friend Becca, shout out Becca again this episode, Becca sent me this article and I started reading the first paragraph. I'm like, oh my God, this is so close to where I live. And I just scroll down to see if there are any other photos. And sure enough, there's a photo of this poster that I saw posted around our neighborhood because we would go for walks. And it was of this woman that's like, beware of this roommate, hashtag West Village Grifter or something like that. Basically, this woman, I want you to read the piece because it explains it really well, but basically this woman was able to keep sort of scamming her way, using the legal system in place, scamming her way into overstaying her quote unquote lease or time in an apartment and not pay and basically be protected by the laws. She kind of just found every loophole, and then while staying there was nuts. Like passive aggressive nuts. Oh, and she has a daughter. So then she would kind of use the daughter as guilt. This poor daughter, honestly, person being most fucked by this whole scenario is the daughter. Anyway, was supposed to start recording and then started reading that, and now I feel like I'm in full recovery from that story. It's like, basically, lesson here is that if you are ever renting to somebody or looking for a roommate, you go buy the book, baby. You go buy the book, and if you get a bad feeling in your gut, you listen to it. You listen to it. Speaking of bad feeling in my gut, I recently went to dinner with a couple friends, another couple, Lon and I, and we were, right before we went out to dinner, I think it was like maybe the day of or day before, they go, oh, listen, we're going to invite this other couple, like, is that okay? Now, in any other time, I'm totally fine meeting new people. You know what I mean? Like, of course I want to meet new people. I got this weird gut feeling like, no, I don't want to meet these people. Like, no, I don't want them to come. Like, so visceral. And just like, oh no, like, I don't want them to come. And then started looking for other reasons why they shouldn't come. And and we're going to be eating outside, whatever. So we meet them. They are like so nice. Lon's like, see, you were overreacting. I was like, okay, yes, it was a lot of fun. Whole night's fun. The following weekend, we go down to Richmond to Lon's parents. And the second day we're there, so we've already spent a night with Lon's parents in their home. We get a text that person, one of the people of that couple, the foreign couple, a couple not inside our bubble, tested positive for COVID. And at a moment when I should feel sympathy for somebody that got a deadly virus and was now going to be sick, I instead felt anger. I felt true anger. I was irritated. I was angry. And then I was paranoid that I had just passed it to Lan's parents and that I was going to kill them. We did a full circle there. Actually, not even a circle, just a straight line up. We started at calm, happy. We shot right up to pure anger. Pure anger. And I don't know if any of you have dealt with something like this, but this was my first true COVID scare. Like very close to me, you know what I mean? Like close contact. Where like I knew, like I had just seen somebody who then got it. So like I had a strong chance of getting it that I knew. You know, of course there are possibilities that I've been exposed to other people. Luckily, I know you're all wondering, no, I do not have COVID. The next day, so we weren't able to get a rapid test that day in Richmond. We were able to get one the next day, the next morning, got a rapid test and everything came back negative. And then after talking to the PA, she, based on our timeline and when the person got symptoms, it sounds to me like he probably, and she agreed, or she said this, that he probably got it after he saw us. So anyway, you know, it was a fun little emotional roller coaster. Glad it's over. Don't want that to happen again. And I also just feel like at this point we are like so far, we are like almost a year into this pandemic. If I caught COVID now, I mean, how could I tell my children and grandchildren that one day? Oh yeah, I got COVID. Oh yeah, was it right at the beginning when it's super scary? No, right just about when lockdown was gonna lift. We were like a couple months away and I just totally shit the bed and caught it. So yeah. Sorry, I just tried to close my bathroom door because the heat is so loud in there and I realized that the door is closed. The heaters in New York City apartments, especially, you know, these like pre-war, you know, character-filled apartments, which we all love, they have the loudest freaking radiators. What goes on inside of there? That's what I want to know. Like, at one moment there might be banging, and at another moment it sounds like the steam erupting from a locomotive in the 1800s. What's in there? And why? And it always does it in our bathroom one. It doesn't do it in the living room, thank God. Can you imagine how awkward that would be? Like you're just talking or watching TV or you have guests over, God forbid, and then all of a sudden just like, is everything okay? Oh, sorry about that. Just heating the apartment with some steam. I know you wanted a rush of steam. Today I also worked out from my apartment. Yeah, many things have not changed during the course of COVID. One of them is I still just work out inside my apartment. I don't really leave all day. And I was doing another workout video today, and you know, when you just like get mad at the instructor, it is like a very nice instructor on YouTube. She pre-filmed a video that I use, and I just like get mad at her for the exercises when they're too hard. And that's the whole point of the workout, is to do exercises that are difficult for you so that you can make some progress and get stronger. And instead, I am in here cursing this woman on the screen. Like a child. And I just want to know if anybody else feels that way, because I get angry. You know what else makes me angry when I'm doing a workout video? Is when they do that lying. When they lie about, they're like, I did this one where he was like, and 5, 4, 4, 4, did like 10 fours. 3, 2, 1, and you're done. You know what? Just either don't count and then just do the 5 down or count correctly. How is that so? It just makes me irritated in the moment. I am irritated that there is more, that I've been tricked. I had one expectation and that has been slashed. And I am irritated at you for lying to me. You lied to me through your teeth, through the camera, through the computer screen facing me. So yeah, that happened today. I also really hate the stretching at the end. And again, this makes me a child because I know you're supposed to stretch. I also would make children stretch when I taught tennis to children. No, I was not good enough to teach older children or even adults. Unless there was absolutely no other pro available, I would be the last one called and I'd trot in and fake my way through the lesson. But with the kiddos, I was fine. And yeah, I always made them stretch, knew the importance of stretching. I hate stretching. And I think it's because I am not naturally flexible, does not come naturally to me. I work at it. But also I'm like tall. I feel like maybe this factors in. So there's just more distance to cover. And I know you're going to be like, no, it's, proportionate. And I disagree with you. Just going to go ahead and disagree with you. Just feel like it's easier to curl up into a ball when there are shorter limbs to work with. And that's great for those people. And I'm really excited about it. I've lost my contact case again. Yeah, it does seem a little bit like I'm hurting for material here, huh? But I lost my contact case again. Inquiring minds wanted to know. I did lose it again. I lose these things like they are fucking candy. I don't know. And I feel like it's some conspiracy that you have to keep buying them. I wish I could say I could just not wear contacts for a few days and it's fine, but I'm literally so blind. I would actually like to know if there's data on how many people require contacts or glasses to get through the day. Because I don't know, like, I will say with contacts now, you don't know as much if people have bad vision. But I do feel like every time I'm like, oh, I have to put my contacts in, people are surprised. Like, they think that I have normal eyes, which leads me to believe that not that many people wear contacts. My eyes are, like, literally so bad. And what makes it worse is that one is way worse than the other. So my depth perception is, like, a little off. Like, it's difficult for me to tell, like, how far away somebody is from me. So, or, like, how far away an object is. So that's why I, like, trip on things a lot. But with my contacts in, it's better. Yeah. I would be curious to know how many of you work in a place where you use Slack. So I use Slack as part of my job. And I just want to know, like, who the person is that invented Slack and why it is, like, what we all fucking use now. Because it's basically instant messenger with greater importance. Do you know what I mean? It is basically instant messenger with corporate authority and urgency slapped on it. So you can't ignore the messages, and you can put it on away, but people still ask you, like, important questions that need to be answered. So when people are like, oh yeah, you just need to, like, not answer emails so you can do your deep work, your deep thinking and deep work and focus on the work that you need to actually do. I want to be like, yes, I could, except I am being pinged with like urgent questions all day. And also people on it, like, oh my God, I hate this so much. I hate it when people Slack you, and this is like texting too, when they Slack you like, hey Charlotte, how's it going? I know, and you know that you are not just slacking me to ask how I am. So save us both the extra work and typing of like these cordial niceties and just ask me what you want. Like, it's already wasting my time that I have to answer a question over Slack for you, or more likely find something for you that you don't know how to search for yourself. So don't waste more time by asking me how I am, because I can assure you, if I am answering a Slack, I am not well. There are many other things that I need to be doing, and answering a Slack message is at the bottom of my list. So just ask me for what you need. And then say thank you. The nicety can come at the end. Say thank you, because that annoys the shit out of me. Oh wait, there's or another one, like the like, hey, hope you're well, like 5 messages in a row. And then you're like, so like, okay, I'm reading all these things, I'm being bombarded, what's happening? And then it takes like another 5 more to get the real question. So this is even worse. There's like so much information being thrown at you, and then you gotta decipher and sort through the messages to figure out what this conversation is actually about. Drives me mad. Or this is another one. When you have a meeting, and then a meeting with people, right? So you're having a meeting, you're discussing probably a project or something at hand, and you're giving opinions on it, and a way to move forward, right? And the idea is that the meeting serves as this place to communicate your opinions, formulate a plan of attack and action, and then when you leave the meeting, everybody has said what they need to say, and the decision that has, been come to or whatever is what everybody's okay with, because everybody talked about it during the meeting. So imagine you think that is what just happened at a meeting, and then not a minute after the meeting ends, somebody slacks you and gives all of these opinions that were not mentioned during the meeting. And you're like, what? Why didn't you just say that in the meeting that just happened to discuss this? Because if we just had a meeting about it, guess what? I am not talking about it anymore. It's done. That was the meeting's purpose. To then slack about that topic just completely negates the entire purpose and negates the time spent on that meeting. Just speak up in the meeting. That's what it's for. It's a meeting, a meeting of the minds, a meeting of roles, a meeting of capabilities. It's a meeting. Meet, talk, planting, meeting. God. I think if there is something that we should all learn in school, it is how to effectively communicate your ideas in a meeting, your opinions on something, why they matter and why they should be considered, and how to listen to others' feedback and opinions and collectively come to a plan and course of action moving forward. And some schools do this, right? And some people have parents that do this, but many do not. Many do not. And it drives me insane. Absolutely drives me insane. Have a sip of my cider while I cool down. And I don't know if it's like a woman thing, because that's what annoys me, right? Is like the couple of examples I'm thinking of do happen to be women, and they are older than I am, right? And it's like, so I don't know if that's like a generational thing or a regional thing or an education thing, societal conditioning thing. You know what I'm saying? But at a certain point, you have to take responsibility and recognize the fact that like you have to look out for yourself. No one is like purposely not listening to you, or you cannot argue that nobody is listening to you if you don't even try to speak to give them something to listen to. Do you know what I'm saying? Because those things do exist. But if you don't even try to fight that, you're perpetuating the problem. Because then the other side can say, oh, well, they don't even speak up. How am I supposed to know? And that's just like what holds the whole movement back, is by you not speaking in a fucking meeting. I've boiled it down. No, but you know what I'm saying? Just like fucking speak up, ladies, gents, everybody. Speak up and listen. Do both. Respectfully. Signed, Charlotte. Whew. I had so much work to do this week. So much today to do. And like literally every hour I would be reminded about how much more I still had to do. And so I would go cook something. Does anybody else do this? When I am stressed out and like overwhelmed with how much I have to do, I cook or bake. And I think it's because of, so like for example today, I like took a break and was like convinced that I needed to make soup with the rest of the ingredients in the refrigerator because we have a new shipment of groceries coming. So I like took a break like in between meetings and was like, okay, I have like a quick amount of time, like I can do this, and like cut up all these veggies and used some veggie sausage and beans and good broth and made this like kick-ass soup and roasted other vegetables in the oven. Mind you, tonight I have plans to go to dinner. So I don't need this food for dinner tonight. This was like an afternoon snack. This was just like a stress relief tool. And I've been doing this literally since high school. I remember even in high school, I'd be like, I'd have all of this homework to do. And like the first thing I would do when I got home, or I would like take a break after doing like a bunch of homework or something and bake cookies or like bake something. And I do it now too, where I just like cook things. And I think it's this idea of being able to have like a task that you can start and complete. Do you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times when you're working on sort of bigger projects or things that are going to take a while, you feel or if you have like a big to-do list, right? Like you sort of feel overwhelmed and daunted with like all of these items that you have to check off. But then cooking something is literally this immediate satisfaction and gratification of creating watching the process happen, and then having a reward or finished product all could be within an hour, could be within 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour. Do you know what I'm saying? And so today I made soup and roasted potatoes, broccoli, and asparagus. And guys, let me tell you, this soup was so fucking good. It's gonna taste great tomorrow. I also feel like it's this weird thing of comfort, you know? Like you feel comforted knowing that there's this sort of like tasty, homey, finished food ready for you or something. Like everything else might be going wrong, but at least you have some soup. At least you have something nourishing to put in your body. That's how I feel about it. Which leads me to my wreck of the week, which is better than Bouillon. Bouillon. I don't know, however you say it. It is, God, I'm looking at the price and how much I fucking overpaid for this. So better than Bouillon is this like condensed broth is the best way I can explain it. And I use veggie. I don't eat meat for the most part. And it's just, you dissolve, to make regular stock, you dissolve 1 teaspoon of this. It's like the same as a bouillon cube, but it's in a jar. Dissolve 1 teaspoon of this in 8 ounces of boiling water. And it's so much easier than keeping a thing of stock in your fridge or broth. And the seasoning is just, the flavors are just so much richer, and you can kind of adapt. Like you can make things a little bit more seasoned or less or whatever. It just, every time I make soup or a stew and use this, it tastes so much better. And I think it's just because like they're able to put more ingredients in or something, and it's just more condensed. I don't know. Big fan. From what I can tell, there's nothing crazy in it. So I always recommend this. Whenever I make a super stew and people are like, wow, this is so good, I'm like, it's definitely my secret weapon. This is better than Bouillon. So check it out. That's my wreck of the week. Patrick, where are you? I need you to help me. My other wreck of the week in shows is The Great North. Have you guys watched this? So it's the new animated, adult animated sitcom, and it's on Fox, and it's about this family in Alaska, the Tobin family. It's so funny, you guys, and it's that kind of like irreverent humor that I love, and where it's one of those shows where every line is funny, but it sort of takes you a second, you know, after they say it, where you're like, that's really clever and funny. It's so good. And so the writers are Wendy, I think they also did Bob's. Yeah, so they did Bob's Burgers. So it's by the same duo, Wendy Malnieu, oh my God, sorry if I mispronounced it, and Minty Lewis, who did Bob's Burgers. So good, it's on Fox, but I watched it streaming, and I must have watched it maybe on Hulu or something. So, yeah, but there's only like 2 episodes out. And so good, recommend. And then in that vein, since we watched that, we also started watching Bob's Burgers, and Bob's Burgers is also so funny and so good. I think I like The Great North a little better, but I've only seen 2 episodes, so who knows. But Bob's Burgers is also so funny, and I love Kristen Schaal too. She's so good. I mean, the whole show is so good. It's about this burger restaurant, and the family runs it, and then they also live above it, and then all the kids work at the restaurant too, and they're just so quirky and funny, and would recommend. It's nice, light. It's like smart, funny, tight writing, but then also light, so you can watch it and not feel like you have to stay glued to your TV till like 3 a.m. and then get this like emotional hangover like you might if you watch any of the other like hit Netflix shows. Great, and it's time for advice. The question this week is from Danielle B, and she asks, do blondes really have more fun? Danielle, I'm so glad you asked. I'll have to tell you, this gal as a blonde in quarantine is not having as much fun. But I have gone through literally every color that you can dye your hair. I mean, not literally every color, but I've had very blonde hair, highlighted. I've had everything in between, sort of like blonde highlights, super blonde highlights, balayage. I've dyed my hair super dark, like almost black. And right now it's sort of this silvery color that I love. And I've also had it really short. I've had it really long. I've had it everywhere in between. And I will say that, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's tied to hair color. I really don't. I will say I personally got hit on less when my hair was darker, but I don't know if that was something with my vibe maybe. I don't know. But I get hit on more when my hair is lighter or dirty blonde. Or blonde, but I didn't see a difference between long and short personally. I feel like it probably has more to do with how skimpy my clothes were. But I do think there's this whenever you do something different with your hair, I do think there is sort of this renewed kind of vibe or confidence or something. It's just this new energy that you feel, and so it might affect how you act when you're out, and that just might affect who is drawn to you based on your energy. So I will say just do whatever you want to do if you want to make a change. If you don't, then just rock some new outfit or vibe when you go out style, and you'll feel great. Except don't go out right now because it's a pandemic, but for your in-house party or next time the world is normal, go get them. All right, well, that's it for today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in. It means so much to me. If you wouldn't mind dropping a review or a like in wherever you're listening to the podcast, it would mean a lot. And if you're watching the video, make sure to like and subscribe. If you or somebody you know think you might be a good fit for this show as a guest, make sure to reach out for me. All right, I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.